Welcome back to the deep dive. So today we're looking at a piece of source material that I think is just fascinating. It does something really remarkable. It takes the simple act of learning conversational English,
Yeah.
and uses it as a vehicle to teach one of the most challenging life skills there is.
Discipline.
Exactly, self-discipline and consistency. It's a brilliant crossover.
It really is. We've been looking at excerpts from this resource, Mastering Discipline Through English Conversation. And the genius of it isn't just the topic, it's the delivery.
Right.
It's framed as this very calm, supportive talk. The speaker is almost like a mentor or a life coach, guiding you through how habits are formed, but keeping the language itself incredibly simple and accessible.
Which, okay, that makes our mission for this deep dive pretty clear. We need to dissect the method. This isn't just about what the source said.
No, it's the how.
It's the how. How does it take these huge, intimidating ideas like, being inconsistent or losing your motivation and turn them into these immediate actionable steps?
Yeah. And purely through simple communication, it's an analysis of pedagogical efficiency, really. Yeah. They get that if the message is about simplifying your actions, then the way you deliver that message has to be simple too. No stress.
Let's start there then. The fundamental problem they're trying to solve.
Huh.
What I found so interesting is how the source lists these roadblocks for an English learner, but now they're not just for English learners.
Not at all. They're universal.
They are.
The source calls out 4 specific things: chronic inconsistency, the paralyzing fear of making mistakes, a total lack of motivation, and then just giving up too soon.
And if you're listening to this, you immediately recognize those.
Of course.
They are the 4 horsemen of failing at a new habit, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it's English or the gym or trying to learn a new piece of software.
Exactly. And the moment the mentor names those pain points, a few things happen.
It validates you.
It validates you. You feel seen. You realize, okay, this isn't just me. This is a human thing.
It's a huge psychological safety net.
It is, because if they started with all these advanced strategies for discipline, it would just feel overwhelming. It would make you feel like more of a failure.
Yeah. Here's another thing I'm not doing right.
Right. Instead, they just say, I know you struggle with this, and that's okay. It normalizes the whole experience.
And right there, the goal of the whole thing becomes obvious. It's about repositioning discipline.
Yeah.
It's not a punishment for failing.
It's the solution.
It's the solution. It's the bridge that gets you from where you are to where you want to be.
It's the skill you learn to fight back against that fear and the dips in motivation. If you have the skill, the feeling, it just doesn't have as much power.
Okay, so if the struggle is universal, the solution has to feel just as universal, just as attainable. Which brings us to the core principle. How does the source actually reframe discipline to make it feel, less scary?
This is my favorite part. It's where they just completely debunked the perfection myth. Because I think most of us, we internalize this idea that discipline is about superhuman willpower.
Right. Never miss a day, always perform at your peak.
Total grind. And the second you have an off day, the whole thing just collapses.
And the source just comes out and says it point blank. Discipline is not about being perfect.
That's the pivot. It's the most powerful sentence in the whole thing. They completely flip the script. Discipline, they say, is about one thing.
Showing up.
Just showing up every day. Not showing up perfectly, not even showing up feeling motivated, just showing up.
Okay, but let me push back on that for a second.
Yeah.
Is there a risk there?
What do you mean?
If discipline is just showing up, couldn't someone use that to justify, 5 minutes of really lazy, unfocused practice? Is it addressing quality versus quantity?
That's a really fair question. And the material handles it, but very subtly. It focuses on the psychological hurdle first.
The starting.
The starting, that's the biggest barrier. For someone who struggles with consistency, perfectionism is the enemy of just getting started.
So they're reducing the cognitive load.
Exactly. That's the whole mechanism. If you tell yourself, I have to get a perfect score, your brain starts calculating all the effort, all the ways you could fail, and it just builds resistance.
And that resistance makes you not even want to start.
But if you define discipline as, I just have to open the book, or I just have to put on my running shoes,
The mental energy required is almost zero.
it's minimal. It's the difference between an achievement model where success is the final score and an accumulation model where success is just the number of times you tried.
The frequency of your attempts. I like that. So
Uh,
you're building a psychological safety net. You're not aiming for this impossible standard anymore.
You're just aiming for consistency. And that is always accessible.
And the power then comes from the compound effect.
Precisely. The source says it over and over. Small daily actions build strong discipline over time. Even if today's practice is only 50% good, you showed up, you didn't break the chain. And once you have a chain going, momentum starts to take over.
And the language they use to say this is so gentle, so low pressure. They keep repeating that phrase. You can start small.
A few minutes is enough.
Yeah.
That sentence is so disarming. It's telling you, hey, the first step doesn't have to be this huge monumental effort. It just has to be something you can sustain.
So, okay, we've got the struggle identified, and we have the solution redefined. Now let's get into the methodology, which to me is the most fascinating part of this deep dive. How the language itself becomes the tool for building the habit.
This is where it all comes together. The pedagogy and the psychology. The instruction has to match the goal.
Right.
If the goal is consistency and low friction, then the language you use has to be simple and repetitive.
So let's ask that analytical question then. How does the source's style reinforce its message? Because this feels very deliberate.
Oh, it's completely deliberate. They are 100% committed to simplicity. And sure, part of that is for the English learners to make sure they understand.
Of course, to build confidence.
But it serves this other equally important role. It helps embed the motivational message into your subconscious. The sentences are short, they're slow, they're repeated.
Which feels good to understand. It feels like a win.
It feels like a win, and it lets the actual advice sink in without any mental resistance.
And that repetition is so key. It's almost like a form of retrieval practice, isn't it?
It is. You don't just hear the advice once. You hear it again and again, phrased in slightly different ways.
And the vocabulary. You're not just learning a word, you're actively using it in the context of improving yourself.
Exactly. And the grammar they use is so strategic. They lean so heavily on the present simple tense.
Okay, break that down. Why is that specific choice so important?
Well, the present simple is what we use to talk about facts, to give advice, and most importantly, to describe daily habits and routines. So instead of saying you should practice tomorrow, which feels like this high-pressure future thing,
Yeah, another thing for the to-do list.
they say discipline is simple. You practice every day. You listen. It anchors the whole idea in the here and now.
It's not about what you failed to do yesterday or what you're scared of doing tomorrow.
It's about this present, achievable moment. It's basically behavioral instruction disguised as a friendly chat.
That is a subtle but that's a massive psychological shift.
It is. And that leads to the last piece of the puzzle. The vocabulary they choose.
The actual words.
The words themselves. Think about them. Practice, routine, habit, focus, improve, progress.
They're not neutral.
They're not neutral at all. They are action words. They are inherently tied to the very concept of discipline they're teaching.
So the vocabulary is doing double duty.
Exactly. You're improving your English, which feels good, but the very words you're learning are embedding the concepts of consistency and growth into your brain.
It's that symbiotic learning loop we were talking about before we started.
Let's make it explicit for everyone listening. The loop is this. As a learner, you gain confidence because you understand a simple English word like routine. But to really get that word in this context, you have to think about how building a routine helps you maintain discipline.
So learning the word forces you to think about the habit.
And applying the habit makes you more familiar with the word. It's a feedback loop built on positive reinforcement.
And because the language is so simple, the barrier to entry is low. You succeed at understanding the mentor.
Which gives you the confidence to try applying the advice.
It all leads back to that core call to action.
Listen, repeat, and take one small step.
They connect the low barrier language directly to a low barrier action.
It's an elegant, closed system. It's engineered for you to succeed right away and to keep succeeding.
That's really the power of this whole thing. It shows that effective teaching, whether it's a language or a life skill, is all about removing friction.
So if we were to synthesize the core learning here for you, it's that this source proves that when you're tackling something psychologically complex, the most powerful way to communicate is often the clearest, slowest, and most repetitive way.
It's a mere principle.
It's a mirror principle. Consistency in the habit you're teaching, and consistency in the language you use to teach it.
So the big takeaway for you, our listener, is actually really liberating. Discipline is accessible. It's radically accessible. It's not about perfection. It's not about some huge burst of willpower.
No.
It's achievable through daily, imperfect action. You just have to master the art of showing up.
That's the whole insight, taking discipline from this crushing mountain and turning it into a gentle daily step.
Which leaves us with a final thought for you to take with you. If this style of calm, repetitive instruction, this focus on the simplest tense and the smallest possible step, if that's so effective for building these really difficult habits, how could applying that slow and simple method change how you approach your own learning, your own deep dives? If you stripped away all the complexity, what's one simple daily action that would actually move you forward the fastest? Something to chew on.
Until next time.
We'll see you then.